What up, y'all? We got a Grief Core Kitchen Edition Oat Milk and Memories. Made this up for my overnight oats. Saves a whole lot of money, but I've been remembering just right now my last big day of seeing Riley and spending time with them in the last. I don't think it was the last in person conversation I had with them, but like the last kind of good connective talk. But it was July 29th. They died on August 8th. So this was less than 2 weeks before they died. And anyway, so I remember we went. So it was a float trip basically at Mile McIver State Park, which is super fun. It's something I've done the last what 4, 5, 6 summers, at least once I think. Maybe almost a year there in 2020. Don't remember. Um, but it's super fun to float down, and it's cool because you can float all within the confines of the state park. So as long as you bring two cars and have one at the top, one at the bottom, you'll be good to go. Anyway, so I just remembering different things about this, and I was looking at my calendar, and dang, I was busy this summer. I always feel like I'm not doing enough for. There's other stuff I could be doing, and I mean I've talked about this, like, oh, I wish I was doing more for Riley or whatever. But also just looking at my calendar of this summer, like I was busy as hell, and there are a lot of things that like Riley was able to join in for, and I was very intentional in getting time with them, and I'm very grateful for that. Um, but anyway, so I was just remembering things about this float trip. Like, it's so fun. There's just a little clip video I took because I took my GoPro on this. So that's like this summer I filmed so much, which I'm so grateful for. And I haven't been doing that to the same extent. I've still been taking lots of pictures and documenting, but I'm just so happy I have like a few GoPro adventures of like a full hour footage of Riley in there. But just like being silly as we were getting ready. I remember being really grateful for my siblings, I especially, in helping plan this. And they were able to bring some friends, and I was able to bring some friends together. And Riley joined in, and it was just a lovely time. And I remember like going down different rapids with them and screaming with glee and joy and looking over to them. And, I was a little worried because they had really been in kind of really low energy, um, struggling to pay attention kind of state, very low executive function, I guess, and being kind of spacey. And so I was a little worried, like how they're gonna do on a full like multiple like hour drive out there, and then you're stuck on a tube and being around people. So I was a little worried how they were going to do. And sometimes they were kind of spacing out, and I could tell they were very in their head. But sometimes I would look over and they were like looking up at birds or just like smiling at nature or having fun, like being in a conversation and just feeling good vibes. And so that was really great. Um, and I also remember afterwards on our drive back, it was me and Riley and Kay, Logan, and Katie, and we and Katie just reminded me of this. It was so funny. We went to this McDonald's, I think in Milwaukee, and they were doing like heavy renovations, and so it was kind of silly, like hard getting into the drive-through even. But we get to the drive-through, and I'm gonna add a little picture in here. We get to the drive-through, and the there's a separate storage container with a little window with bars. Like this person is in jail, in like an old western jail, but that's where they were like serving doing the stuff. And I'm sure it was like air conditioned and stuff and comfortable. But it was just so funny, and we were all laughing, and Riley thought it was funny too. And after I dropped my other friends off, like I think like a 5 minute conversation, 5-10 minutes just like on the drive home, like checking in and seeing like the things that they were wanting to work on and focus on. And I don't even remember the exact details at this moment, but it was just a good conversation, a good connection. um and so that was like great, and I'm really grateful for that. And I do, unfortunately, also remember though that as we were getting out of the river, the Clackamas River there, like they were very spaced out and out of it and seemed kind of shivering. And I kind of like went up to them, and I actually do have a video of this. I just watched it, and it's like really heartbreaking and beautiful. And I'm actually not going to post it. Like, I'm going to describe it right now. If you're someone who knew Riley and like you want to see this, just hit me up and I can send it to you. But I don't know. I think I found the one thing that feels a little too gratuitous um and yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me for slobcore. But um basically they were like, I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And they were just like cold, and so we walk over into the sun, and I asked like how they're doing and how they liked it, and I think I said, "Are you doing okay?" And they said no, they weren't, and basically just started to explain like where they were and what their head was like. And it and then I stop recording like once they get into it, which I'm actually really glad that I did that, even though like the curious knowledge seeker in me wants to listen to every single conversation I had with them in my entire life so I can analyze it and see where I slipped up and see where I could have said something else. But that's obviously not a realistic thing, and I don't think would be a healthy thing. Um, but anyway, this video, like, it also just really kind of shows where they were at this point in their life, and also that they were like very good at like receiving support and also like reaching out for support when they needed it, which is also just one of the parts of this that makes it feel so unreal, is because in a lot of ways like there were so many things that like they had really worked on and improved on in their personal life and in connecting with us and in what seemed like to be managing a lot of their symptoms and a lot of their struggles. And even I've been thinking about it and um wondering like how much just of their like political nihilism contributed to like their addiction issues and their mental health struggles. And maybe in some ways I don't even know where to go with this. But then I was also remembering one of the last times I saw them, they were just like honestly pretty optimistic about the political situation in America, and like thinking of maybe, I think they said something about like AOC could be president next, and it's not all doom and gloom, because that's one of the things where I think I project my worries onto them and in things that like we were similar in. But anyway, that's a whole nother can of worms. Um, but unfortunately, that is also embedded in the memories of this day. And I think just like watching it and like sitting with it and thinking of it is really good. But I like was able to listen to Riley and kind of affirm that, yeah, that sounds really like distressing, and it made sense. So basically when they were just like on the river, their mind was filled with like dark and evil thoughts and really stressful like worries and things that just like made them feel really bad and disconnected. And it was like really overwhelming. And that's why at times I looked over and they're spaced out, because it was like so, it could be so distressing in their mind. So I was really glad though that they shared, and like even when I dropped them off, I was able to really check in on them and ask if they were feeling safe and ask if they were feeling like okay, and just also letting them know that like I'm here to talk and I'm here to support them. And that's like actually thinking back to what actually happened rather than my emotional memories in this time of like confusion and grief is really good, because reckoning with this, like I do remember, even though I feel guilty and feel like I could have done more, I just remember like how much I did and how much I'm proud of like the support I was able to give them, and how much just like everyone surrounding them was able to help them out. And even like Peyton was there after I was talking to Riley, and I had to go and drive and get the car, and she was just really good with him there. And it was just truly a really beautiful day and a good memory to cherish.